Okay, we are now recording. Please feel free to keep your mics on mute just during the training. I will be pausing periodically to ask for questions, and then also you can post them in the chat as well. As a quick introduction to who I am, my name's Tyler Shaven. I'm the instructional designer, formerly instructional tech trainer. Now what I do is I continue to train on Canvas, but I also support people at the district level with creating trainings for you all in the Canvas environment. I started my career at OPS as a middle school teacher, and then I went to Creighton University for a while, where I did instructional design work, working with their School of Education, the counseling department, educational leadership, and I helped them build classes that would go out online, and they were able to totally teach their classes from Canvas. And then, of course, I came back here as a tech trainer, and now I do the instructional design. So yeah, it's good to be here, and I'll kind of impart some knowledge on Canvas for you all. So before we get started, I did just want to point out that only secondary teachers do have access to Canvas for instruction, and that's going to be the main focus of today. So unfortunately, if there's any elementary personnel, you won't be able to use Canvas with students. It's only going to be for staff PD. So that was a decision made by the curriculum and instruction department. I guess they're using Savvis instead. So that might change someday, but as of right now for this school year, you won't have access to Canvas with students. So just wanted to throw that out there. For high school and middle school, you do all have access. So you'll be able to, all of your students have accounts. You'll log into Canvas and your classes and students will be enrolled for you just like they were in Teams if you've taught with Teams before. So that's kind of how that works. Also, how to access Canvas. I always like to throw this out at the very beginning. Canvas can be found either by using the link to the main Canvas site, or you can also find it in Clever. Let me share my screen here so you can see what that link looks like. But also, as a reminder, I did post a link in the chat that will also bring you there. Okay, we got a lot more people in here. So the link that you're going to be actually using, and I wish I could zoom in on that a little bigger, but it's omaha.instructure.com. So that's going to be the link that you'll use. I always do suggest to people that they use their regular computer and a web browser like Edge or Chrome or something like that to access Canvas and to actually build your content. And the reason for that is because the web browser version on a computer has all the features, whereas the app version of Canvas is a little bit watered down just so it can work on the iPads. With that said, though, for students, the best place for them to access Canvas on their iPads is going to be the Canvas iPad app. So there is a Canvas iPad app on their devices, and that is where they can click on it, log in using their e-username at ops.org and password, and then they'll be able to get into Canvas. So you get into Canvas here. There's the link, and then again, also there is a link in Clever as well. So what I did for my particular browser, it depends what browser you're using, but I like to bookmark the page with the Canvas. So here's my bookmark right up here. So you can explore how whatever browser you're using, how you do bookmarks, maybe bookmark Canvas, and then you'll never have to go searching for it. Okay, so I like to start off with, first of all, what is Canvas? Why are we using it? So Canvas is a learning management system. And what that means is it's something that can house your entire course. So there are universities that they teach entire online classes to people just using Canvas. It's the only tool that they need in order to do that. So really, it can do just about anything. With that said, though, with an LMS, you're not losing anything to start using it. It's just kind of a way to organize all of your content. So it's a one-stop shop for your students. They come to Canvas, they go to your Canvas page, and voila, they're going to find all of your resources, all of your learning activities, no matter where they're hosted. It can all be housed right here in one place. And if you make it organized, it can make things a lot easier for you. So if you use Nearpod, if you use Teams, if you use any kind of learning app, really, you can place a link to it in your course, and then your students will be able to find it very easily. There's also built-in tools in Canvas, like assignments, quizzes. I really like quizzes because it grades everything except essay questions for you. So that makes grading go a lot faster. If you're like me, I taught middle school and I always had like multiple choice, true, false, and then I jump into like the essay type question, short answer. Well, it'll grade all that other stuff for you. So you just have to do the essays at that point. So very useful. But that quizzing tool is in there as well. So there's some built-in tools, but then also you can continue to use other things that you have. Yes, I saw that comment post in. It will link OneNote. In fact, OneNote's built in. I won't have time to cover that today, but we do have a OneNote built in for Canvas, and I'll show you where you can find resources on that. So with that said, that's what an LMS is. Why Canvas? The big reason is the state adopted it. So the state has adopted Canvas. Most K-12 institutions are going to Canvas to start using, and then all universities and public colleges and even trade workers programs are utilizing Canvas. So I know a farmer who had to take, a farmer in my family was complaining to me about Canvas. Apparently they had to use Canvas in order to do some like pesticide certification for the state. So even if you're not going to college, it's still gonna pop up in your daily life. And if you've been in college in the last few years, you might have encountered Canvas. So the state kind of just wants everybody on one ecosystem. So that's why it's a big push here in OPS to follow along with that. So that's why we're utilizing it now. But like I said, it doesn't take any away from anything you're already using, just gives you a way to organize it better. So I really can't think of anything you can't use in Canvas, just because worst case scenario, you can just link it. So with that, are there any questions about what an LMS is or how people will access it? Let me check the chat here. Okay, I answered the question in the chat, so we'll keep going. And I apologize if it seems like I'm moving a little fast. I did want to condense this just since I know you guys aren't technically on the clock yet. So, but anyway, we'll keep moving along. So once you access Canvas using either that link or Clever, you will be thrown into this area called your dashboard. And this is kind of like the main area where all of your courses are going to be housed. For many of you, if you scroll to the bottom, you'll see an unpublished courses area. And that unpublished courses area is where Infinite Campus has pulled in your classes and your students. Now, some of you might not have it yet. It just depends on how far your school is in getting the schedules out. So be keeping an eye on it. If it doesn't pop up in a day or two, definitely email the help desk. But for most of you, there should be courses with students in here now. It'll be those big, long Infinite Campus names, and it'll be down here in the unpublished area. Throughout Canvas, there's two states that your content can be in. There's unpublished and published. Unpublished means that only you can see it. So all of these courses in my unpublished area, just me, only I can see it. If students are enrolled in there, nobody can see that content. That's good because then you can build your stuff out or make adjustments or even store stuff in your class that you don't want your students to see, and you can just leave it unpublished. That way they can't see it. Once your course is ready to go, you can click this publish button up here in the top left corner of any one of these, and it will move it up here to the published area. That means that your students can now see it. The course is open and ready to go. And then within a course, there's also published and unpublished for anything. So a worksheet, a module, things like that. So published, unpublished. One pro tip for getting around Canvas, because I know it can be a little confusing when you have all these big, long, Infinite Campus names. One of the first things that I like to do is I like to come up to the 3 dots on the course card and click on it, and I can set a nickname for the course. So if I come down here, this is the course we're using today, the Intro to Canvas training course. Let's say that's a big, long name from Infinite Campus. What I can do is I can click these 3 dots, and I can give it a nickname. So let's say I want to call this, I was a science teacher. Let's say it's my Science 7 course. I can select a color code for it if I'm organized that way, and then I can hit apply, and it does change that name so it's easier to find. So like you could do block 1-2 8A or something like that, something to help you organize and find your stuff better. Now, this name doesn't change the name of the course, it just changes your view. So your students won't see the nickname. If you want to set a nickname like worst class ever, your students won't see it, only you will. I don't suggest you do that still, but you technically could get away with it, probably. So you can change that name and set the color. What you could encourage your students to do if they're getting lost is to do the same thing. So like on the first day, be like, go in and let's find your Canvas course so you know where it is. Let's give it this nickname. And then that way you can refer to it that way in the future. But I am going to change my nickname back here so I don't get lost. All right, so that's how you can change the color and the nickname, and then that helps you organize it. Other than that, the really only other main thing to look at here in this navigation area is the courses area. So the courses area is where you'll see a big long list of your published and unpublished courses. What you can do is at the top, you can go to this all courses button. And from here, you'll notice that there's stars for favorites along all of your courses. You'll notice that I have like 50 billion Canvas classes, but they don't all show up on my dashboard. That's because the ones that I want on my dashboard, I just hit the little star, and then that adds just those courses to my dashboard. So like I've had people that had a study hall period that they didn't want to show up on their dashboard because they're not using that Canvas course. They just don't click the star, and then that way it stays hidden. Same thing with like advisement courses. If you're not using Canvas with advisement, you don't have to click the star and then it won't show up. If you don't click any of these stars though, they all show up. So many of you probably logged in and saw a big long list of courses. Well, you can go to the courses area, click all courses, and then you can star just the items that you want to show up on your dashboard. And then in the future, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can find all of your previous courses as well. So if you've taught with Canvas before or used it a little bit, you can find all your previous courses. And I won't cover it in this training, but I do cover it in the one after this, which is getting started for the semester. In that particular instance, you can take content from your previous course and just copy it over. So what I used to do is I'd set up a course for one semester, and if I'm teaching the same course the next semester, I would just copy the whole thing over, and then I only have to make adjustments. So I always like to say that, you know, Canvas is a lot of setup in the I mean, not a lot, it depends how much you want to go into it. It can be a lot of setup in the beginning, but then once it's done, you're set. You know, you just keep adjusting it year after year. So that's pretty nice. Okay, so back to the dashboard, and then the final button over here on the navigation that's kind of helpful is this help button down here. So if I click on help, there's some links. So like there's a asynchronous course that you can take. So you can click that link, enroll in it, and then work on it at your own time. Sarah, I saw your question. How do I know which courses for which semester? Unfortunately, the only way to do that is to go and compare the names in Infinite Campus. I know they use different numbers per semester, so just have to compare them. Kind of like in Teams. And then the other thing is there is a support line, so you can chat with Canvas support. They can help you do stuff in Canvas. It's actually pretty helpful. And then also there's just various other buttons in here. So when in doubt, go to this little help button area, and you can sometimes find the answers to your questions. At the very top, there's Canvas guides. That's where you can search a question and find guides on it with pictures and stuff to help you do things. So like if you want to know how to set up a quiz, you can go here and type in, how do I set up a quiz? It'll show you. Okay. Quick note, none of you are going to see these buttons down here, start a new course. That's because I have admin role. It's also why I have this admin button up here. So you will not have those options. If you do need a course created at any point for some reason, you can email the help desk and they can assist you. Questions about navigating Canvas before we hop into a course? Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of practice to get an idea of what a Canvas course can be like with your students. So if I click in here on this training course, and I am, again, going to post this link because I have found over the years that sometimes if people join after I post a link in the chat, they can't see it. So just to double check, I'll post this again. That's our Canvas training course. You can click on that, log in, and hit the enroll button. That'll get you into this particular course here. But this is kind of a very basic course. And just as a forewarning, I mean, when you're using this with your students, your courses could and probably should be very basic as well. So not a ton of buttons, everything's kind of cleaned up. It looks like I have a lot of buttons here on the side, but these little eyeballs mean that only I can see them. So your view, you'll only see home and modules and settings, or not even settings, you'll just see home and modules. But it's got this basic home page here. It's got a description of the training. It's got my learning outcomes. It's got contact information down here. And then if I click here on the click here for modules area, this is kind of the bread and butter of Canvas. This is where Canvas shines. So the modules area is kind of like the main area of your course where students will access your course materials. So I have a couple modules here for you if you've enrolled into this course. Oh, I'm sorry. I posted the wrong link for people that are saying access denied. I forgot. I have to go in here and give you this link. My bad. Okay. I've become forgetful. I have a 3-week-old baby at home. I just got back from parental leave and my mind is swimming in a million different directions and I drink a lot of caffeine. So, but yeah, that new link will work. So that's the enroll link. And by the way, I set this up. You won't be able to invite students this way. This is just something I did on the side. So, but once you click that link and you log in and enroll, we can head on over to this modules area. And so here I have a couple of modules. Now, what a module is, kind of think of it like a drawer in a filing cabinet. So when I first started teaching, I had a big filing cabinet for my 7th grade science class, and I had the drawers for each one of my units. So I had a drawer labeled earth science. I had a drawer labeled biology. So on and so forth. And then within that drawer contained all of my materials for class. And whenever I needed it, I'd take it out, make copies, pass it out to my students. Well, in the digital world, what you can do is you can set up a module, which is basically this clump right here, a drawer, and you can set this up so that it contains all the resources your students need for each unit. So, and you can organize this however you want. So for me, I just put Canvas resources here at the top. These are some helpful links for you, including our YouTube channel, like and subscribe. Our YouTube channel is where you can find instructional videos that go more in depth on what we're doing today. And then there's the Canvas for Beginners course that I talked about, Canvas Guys. There's just some helpful links up here. And then down here, I put some example assignments. So that's how I organize mine. It's very short. I've seen teachers organize these by unit. So they'll have a module for a unit. Students know, oh, I'm on this unit. I go there. This is where I can find my stuff. And I've also seen teachers do it by week. So maybe they like to organize it by week. So like week 1, week 2, week 3. And then students know when I go to my Canvas course, I go to the week that I'm on, and then that contains my resources for the week. I've also seen it by day if you really want to go that far. So it doesn't matter how you organize it though. Just make sure however you organize it, it's consistent. So don't do like, unit 1, week 3, stuff like that. Just whatever you pick, kind of stick with that. Unless your mind halfway through the semester and you just inform your students, hey, I'm going to change up this organization. So, but just being consistent with it. So, but this is what I did with mine. Your results may vary. Now, when we come in here, you'll see that there's an example module of assignments. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes because I just want you to kind of work through these quickly. 5 minutes to come in here and look at these different assignments that I've added so you can get an idea of what the student experience is like. So this is a helpful tool that you do have access to as well. But if I come up here, there's a view as a student button. I can click the view as a student button, and this will show me what my class looks like for my students. And you can do this at any point as you're building. Whoops. Oh my gosh. I got to reset my student. So from here, you can test your assignments. You can see what your students see. So if you're not sure if they can see a certain resource, you can check there. So this is probably about what you see. So what I want you to do is come down here. The first thing is an assignment submission. So I can click in here. Should have turned off those notifications. I can see a rubric, some directions, and I can come down here and I can create a text box and answer the question. So you can just answer it. This is really great. This is a lot better on iPads if you're on an iPad, because then you can just come down here and write on it. But basically what I did is I took a Word document that I originally had as a Teams assignment, and I added it to this page, and they're able to come down here, fill it out, and then hit submit assignment. And that's it. You now have a copy of it. I'm going to hit next to go to the next one. The next thing that I want you to practice with is a discussion board. So in the discussion board, you can hit the reply button and you can answer the question. And then in the final one, we have a quiz. What you'll do is you'll click the take the quiz button and you'll work through the quiz. So I'm going to give you all 5 minutes. Hopefully you got that link and you got in. If you didn't get in or you don't want to get in, let's say you're multitasking and watching this, that's okay. I'm not going to be checking who did what. But for those of you that want to take that 5 minutes to kind of experience 3 different items that you can add to a module, you can begin working through this. So we will do 5 minutes. Let me do I should have had this pulled up. All right, so I've got the time pulled up here. I'll be quiet, and if you have questions, feel free to ask and I'll answer them. But otherwise, start working through those 3 assignments down there so you can see what this looks like for your students. And thank you for the congratulations. It's been nice, but I'm very tired. It's bad timing right at the beginning of the school year.
Tyler, can you show me how to write on the document again?
Yes. So go back to it. See some people responding. Awesome. What you do is you have some options at the top. So like you can draw or all this. What I did, because I'm on a computer, I did the text button here. So you click text and then you just click in the document and you can type your answer. It's a lot cooler on the iPad, but this works. And as a side note, while you all are working, if you have like an essay or a report or something you want students to turn in, it's probably better just to add just a Word document to this, and that way they can type up a Word document and submit it to you as opposed to annotate. So there's 2 options for how you can do this. Since I just wanted a short answer, I just set it up like this. Yes, so someone asked a question, can students attach a Word document or PowerPoint? Absolutely. So it's just a different selection in the assignments area. I do have a YouTube channel that goes into more detail on each one of these topics, and you can check that out. And I do go over the options for how to set up the assignments. You can also do text box. You can have them record a video and submit it. You can have them post a website link. So like if they make something in another app and you want them to submit it in Canvas, they can copy the share link to it and post it. Okay, we're about out of time, so we'll let this count down. Okay. So with that said, I'm now going to leave student view and kind of show you what this looks like on the teacher perspective. So I did get some submissions in here. If I go to the assignment, what I can do is I can come up here in the top right corner and there's a speed grader button. So I click speed grader and I can click through and I can give feedback and grade things for people. So, and then scroll through all of my students. So it makes grading very quick and easy. I said that as a teacher, I like to use the web browser version of Canvas. There's one exception. I do prefer the Canvas app for SpeedGrader because on an iPad screen or your phone screen, you can go through and you can just write your feedback real quick. I have a whole training on SpeedGrader as well in the YouTube channel, but it makes grading very easy. So no more carrying around massive stacks of reports or lab reports or things like that. You can have it all right there on your phone and grade it. So I really like that feature. And if I go to next in the discussion area, I can see that people answered the question. And you might notice that if you go here, you can see their responses as well. So this is a good place to have students answer a question where you want everyone to see the answer. I've seen teachers that do all their bell work in discussion boards. So discussion boards are good for like bell work, maybe an exit ticket, something like that. I've even had some feedback that some students that are really quiet and never want to talk during class are more likely to post their answers to like bell work and stuff in this forum. So it's a good way to, give more options to answer questions. And then finally, we had the quiz. I go to SpeedGrader. Yep. Oh, good. The greatest. That's good. So I'm able to see what you answered, correct and incorrect. And you can even put like a little answer that pops up to explain it if they answered it correctly. So, and this graded it for me. So you can see like, people that already got the points. And please don't take people's points seriously. These were all joke questions. So I apologize to Thomas, who's accidentally got pulled up. But like I said, joke questions. So it graded it automatically for me. So then I can go to my grade book here. So grades on the side. And for the quiz, I can see what everybody's score was. So very quick and painless to do like quick assessments, but then also you can host an entire unit exam on there if you want to. It's just up to you. Okay, so that's kind of what it can do. Now, how do we get started setting it up? So for starters, some of you are going to be getting classes given to you. So your curriculum supervisors have been building classes for Canvas that they will send out to you. So one of these days, you'll either get instructions on how to copy it, or it'll just show up in your course. You'll have to ask them which of those courses are available. But the eventual goal is they want to have a Canvas course for every core class. So eventually you'll just get a course given to you that you can then teach from. So really cool stuff. It's just it takes time to build that, so they're not all ready 100% yet. So you'll have to ask your curriculum supervisor if you're one of those lucky people that your subject area has a course coming. It'll get pulled in, and whenever you want to change something, because of course you'll still put your own spin on things and edit things, you can come up here to the top, and there's always an edit button at the top of every type of page or assignment or whatever you're using. You click that, and then you can click through, and it's just like a Word document. So you can come through here, you can select these tools at the top, and you can make changes. You can add your own images. You can, fill it out, customize it to how you teach. And then also same thing in the modules area. So, but if you're one of those people that isn't getting a course yet, don't worry. We have not left you out to dry. There is a template that you can copy into a blank course. So if I come over here to my dashboard, I'm going to go to another course that should be blank if I remembered to wipe it. Oh, which course was it? My sandbox. Let's see. So I'm just going to show you how I did this. But if you go to this button over here called Commons, and I have a video on the YouTube channel with a big Start Here thing at the top, go to that video first. It will show you how to copy this. But just to quickly show you, you can go to Commons. Commons is like a resource area for Canvas. And you can search for things. So like you can find modules on your various subjects that people have shared. All of these are free resources that I can add to my course. And like there's some like official stuff on there. Like this one's Designers for Learning. They've created a meaningful inclusion for the Special Olympics course that you can pull in and use if you want it. But the one we're going to be looking for, probably the easiest way to find it is to type in my name. So we'll do Tyler Chabin, and you will see all the resources that I have added to assist you with Canvas. And the resource you're going to be looking for is this one over here called the Secondary Canvas Template for OPS. This is a template that you pull into your course. It adjusts your settings. It adjusts everything and sets it up for you. So you just have to edit it and make it your own. So I'll come in here and I'll do Secondary Canvas Template for OPS. There is a favorites button here. You can click favorites and that'll add it to this area up here so you can always find it. But then when I want to add it to a course, it's very quick and painless. I can click import download and I can select my course from the list just by clicking the little box and then scroll down here to import into course, and that will pull the template in. So for time's sake, I've already done that. So we'll go back to dashboard. And then that gives you this. So this is set up your navigation for you and everything. And you'll see that there's some fill in the blank spots to help make this course your own, but I can go to edit. I can come here and click and add my course title. If I want to, I can add a new picture, insert image, you can play around with this. If you ever mess something up really bad, you can either hit cancel to undo your changes or just go to edit, undo. I use that button all the time. So if I break something on accident, I just do undo and it fixes it. So without having to cancel my changes. But you can add pictures, customize the text. All of these buttons down here already work for you. So if I hit save, I can go to about your teacher. You can fill out this page, your general contact info and all that. And that's mostly because at some point you can have parent observers in these courses, and so they can find your contact info if they need it. There's also a class overview area. So you click there, you can put your course standards and your classroom expectations. Or if you don't care about these pages, you don't have to use them at all, and you can just delete them. So you have freedom. But then the main area is going to be this Learning Modules button. If you click here, this gives you an example module up at the top, or sorry, it gives you resources up at the top, and then some example modules down here. So you don't have to use this if you don't want to, but this goes to show you everything that you can put in a module. So you've got pages, a discussion board, an assignment, a quiz, another random page. You can also add links to anything. And the way you'd do that is you'd come up here to this plus module button, and you can hit plus module, give it a name. So sample module or unit 1, however you want to do it. I'll hit add module. It shows up here at the bottom, but you can click and drag it. So they call these the Disney dots. I have no idea why, but they do. So they call them the Disney dots. You can click over here and you can drag and you can move your module up and down. You can also do this with individual pages. So that's how you can move things. Now you'll notice when I create my module that there's this gray slash. That means that it's unpublished. And my students can't see it. So what you can do is you can click where it says unpublished, and you can publish these items when it's ready for students to see. Now, one thing that I've used this for is, let's say I've worked a few weeks ahead. What I'll do is I'll take like the 2 modules that my students don't need yet, and I'll just leave them unpublished. And then that way they don't see it. But once I'm ready for them to see it, I can hit publish module and all items, and then that will make it visible. Then to add things to a module, you click this plus button up here in the top right corner, and you have a drop-down menu. So here's the assignments, quizzes. Here's a file. So if you have a PowerPoint or something, or a Word document, a PDF, whatever, you can click that, and you can load it from your computer or OneDrive, whichever. Here's a page, which is just it's like a built-in Word document in Canvas. The discussion board that we practiced with. There's a text header. That's what this is. So it's not a button or anything. It just helps you divide your module. So you can't click on it or nothing. It just breaks up the content. And then the final thing in here is going to be an external URL. Now, that's a very common tool to use because you can post links to any of your external resources. If you have a video you want to show them, you can post it there. If you have a Nearpod you want them to click on to access, they can click there. ClassKick, whatever you use, that you can add a link there and they'll be able to click on it. So you can use all the same stuff you were doing. And now your students will be able to come to this one place and they'll be able to see everything organized into chunks. So that's how you can do that. And I know I went kind of fast today, but going back to our original course, just to show you our resources, this course will stay live. I'm not going to delete it, so you can always refer back to this. But in the modules area above the examples, there is links to various resources. So here's that YouTube channel I was talking about. If we click on this, it brings me to the Canvas YouTube channel. So like here's how to combine courses into Canvas. There's all sorts of resources on how to access Canvas. I can go to videos and see all of these Canvas and other related things. So that's pretty useful. And then, of course, I'm always available for questions. So you're free to reach out to me if you have questions. So with that, we have a couple minutes left before I have to hop into the next training. Are there any final questions? I'm hoping that today was enough just to get you started.
I know you said it was the next training, but where would OneNote be?
So it's not the next training. OneNote is a tool on the side. I have a video on it on the YouTube channel, but if you go to like settings, this is getting a little more advanced, and go to navigation, there's a notebook button, class notebook. You can drag it up and add it to your course navigation. But like I said, I'd refer to that video or just shoot me an email and we can talk about how to do that in more detail. Otherwise, people just use a notebook like they always have done, and they just post a link to it in their course. Any other questions? Okay, well, I'm always available. Please reach out if you need it. And also remember, start small. You don't have to have your entire course hosted in Canvas right away. What I started with when I very first got started is I had one module that just contained my belt work. So that's all we did in Canvas for like the first month was belt work. And then as I became more comfortable, I started adding more stuff. So, but if you're tech savvy and you want to jump right in, you can do that too. So just don't let it stress you out. It's very easy to use once you get used to it. You know, maybe just like pick one thing. If you're really unsure and you got a lot going on, maybe just pick one thing and start with that. So in my case, it was bell work. In your case, it could be a quiz or something. You know, start small, use the YouTube channels, and of course, use myself. I am a resource to assist you with this. But otherwise, good luck tomorrow. Thank you for joining me on your last day of summer. And yeah, definitely have a good start to your school year. And don't forget, I'm available to assist you if you have more questions. And I'll keep this course open so you can come back here and find all your links to everything in one spot. So have a good day, and I'll be posting this recording on the YouTube channel.